Yeah, man, we back, we back. Another reaction, man. We got Trap Lil Ross breaking down to David and Celeste. Man, he talking about was she pregnant or something? And look, go ahead, subscribe to the channel because it's free. Like the video, run us up. We got reactions dropping every day, man. If you like this type of content, sit back. You know, you're gonna be here for a few minutes. Watch the video to the end.
Brutally murdered and cut up and put in the trunk of...
Hold on. What did he say? What? Get it going, chat.
One of the biggest mysteries and question marks still surrounding the David case is exactly what was going on behind the scenes with David and Celeste's relationship. We've seen enough evidence to suggest that he was seemingly in a relationship with this minor who was only 14 when she lost her life and was brutally murdered and cut up and put in the trunk of this.
Now that's crazy that she was 14 and here he a signed artist, a whole grown man, man. Like, I find that very strange from the parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it'd be hard to,
Idiots,
man.
Tesla. But one of the big things that has really been kind of muddying the waters with regards to the relationship between Celeste and David is the rumors of pregnancy. Now, obviously, she's a minor. Any sexual interactions between him and her are illegal, statutory, right? Ain't no debate, ain't no consent, it's not even possible. But apparently, according to prosecutors, there have been, messages between them that suggest maybe a pregnancy had occurred, maybe an abortion was being planned, maybe Plan B contraceptive was being used, these kinds of things. And it's still not conclusive.
What? Plan B? At this Plan B? What you just say, Tribal Ross?
As to whether this was true. It seems to suggest from the prosecution, at least based on conversations that David and Celeste were having, that there was some kind of pregnancy scare, but we don't know the full facts at this stage. So in this video, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the theory, some of the evidence, some of the discussion around Celeste being pregnant, potentially at the time of the murder, and that might give even more motive to why David could have allegedly murdered this little girl, because she might have been pregnant with his child, and that would have been pretty bad for the career. She was apparently threatening to ruin his career. If she was pregnant, hey, that would be even worse.
She's pregnant and threatening to ruin his career and child support and all these things. Yeah, that could have drove him over the edge right there, man. I ain't gonna lie. But he bogus anyway, though. Like, he shouldn't even be doing that, in my opinion. He should have been him a little industry chick or something.
Okay, and I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying that. I'm not disgusting, all disgusting. And if that was true, it just makes the story even more despicable and disgusting. So this is TMZ's reporting from about just over a week ago. Okay. It's a David murder case. Unknown if Celeste was pregnant, the death certificate was updated. So this was really interesting. They announced that the death certificate on Celeste Rivas Hernandez was actually updated. So there's some important notes and updates in the death certificate for Celeste. The document now reflects the fact that the LA County Medical Examiner says she was murdered, and it's now unknown if she'd been pregnant in the year before she was killed. TMZ obtained the new death certificate, and it no longer says she was not pregnant. Now that section is marked U for unknown. The new certificate says cause of death has been corrected from deferred to multiple penetrating injuries, and the manner of death is updated from pending investigation to homicide. The document was
But so they changed her. Was she pregnant to unknown? Oh yeah, he was wild. Yeah, he was wild in chat.
Also corrected to say the injury date, hour, place, and location were unknown, with the section stating describe how injury occurred, events which resulted in injury now says with objects. So this opens the door to the possibility that she was pregnant at the time. Now, I did see some comments on Reddit suggesting that, this can be a bit of a normal thing when it comes to autopsies and death certificates. A lot of women can get marked unknown for pregnancy. That's not a yes, that's not a definite, but it's not a no either. So it's a possibility, according to the death certificate, that she might have been pregnant at the time of her death. Now, interestingly enough, okay.
Nah, that's wild, chat. If she was pregnant, man, he's something else. I ain't gonna lie. If he got Shorty pregnant, man, he's something else.
We saw it previously. There was already a little bit of evidence. There was a series of messages in David's Discord quite some time ago of somebody discussing a pregnancy, and this kind of did fit in with the timeline of alleged abuse when it came to Celeste. So let me just see if I can get access to this page already here. So it was a deleted user, someone saying, I think I'm pregnant. Oh my. A pregnant Discordian said, why do you think you're pregnant? My belly's getting bigger. Unexpected. They're sending you a virgin. It says it's easier said than done. Sometimes something kicks in my belly. They're saying, no. When was the last time you had sex?
So what they trying to say? She the deleted person? Trying to say she the deleted user that was, wild and talking about she pregnant and all this.
They said 2 months ago. So some people have speculated that this might have been Celeste in the Discord talking about she pregnant. Okay, someone talking about 14. I thought you was older. That's the part that someone's talking about 14. I thought you was older. Like, a lot of people thinking this is Celeste. Some people have tried to debunk it and suggest it's not. They're saying your birthday, that's a different person. Deleted user 2 months ago. Make sure you're really pregnant or not. If yes, tell the father or parents. So anyway, there's been a few little Discord messages floating around that have seemed to suggest that Celeste may have been pregnant and talking about it in the Discord. Now, there's been quite a few different, discussions of this on Reddit. This was 10 days ago. It says this is when it was announced. The prosecutors have evidence of Celeste being pregnant at some point. And this was from the paperwork. It says recovered text between David and Celeste contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B emergency contraceptive.
What? Text from David to Celeste talking about Plan Bs and pregnancy and abortion. He bogus if he's wild like that, chat. I ain't gonna lie.
The brief alleges. Burke and Rivas also exchanged illegal photographs documenting corroborating their sexual relationship. Okay. So combine all that with the DNA evidence that was found. It says it's possible that she may have just thought she could be pregnant, but wasn't. And people saying, I also don't think this is proof that she was actually pregnant, just proof they were discussing the possibility. This says there was evidence that they talked about their pregnancy and abortion. It says evidencing that. See, if you look at the way it's worded, it says numerous text messages between defendant and victim, evidencing. And now it goes into a list of things that are evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B. The way that's worded would suggest to me they have text messages between them that evidence a pregnancy. That would suggest it happens. Not saying they discussed a possibility, saying.
Yeah, they probably saying, I can't get you pregnant. And you'll have to get an abortion. And that's why you should use Plan Bs. However, he was wild in chat. The little David fool was wild, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Evidence of a pregnancy and an abortion. Sounds like that's what happened. So I think that's really, really interesting if you read between the lines and you get into the detail. Okay. It says, I'm going to wait for more evidence before believing she was pregnant at some point. It says jurors will have to ponder this if it goes to trial. Would a conversation in which Celeste says I'm pregnant by text and they discuss abortion, the actual texts aren't released in the documents, be enough to convince you? It's somewhat immaterial as it's not directly about the main charges. However, it would be one of the several strands of evidence that the two were sexually active since she was 13. People saying, exactly. To be honest, it doesn't matter if she was pregnant or not. The real thing is, did he have an inappropriate relationship with a child? This is just another piece of evidence that screams yes. That aids in the motive for the murder alone. Pregnant or not, his motive would still be he killed her to silence it getting out that he was a PDF. Okay, a file of that sort. It says,
but then they say people know that he was messing with her, or they did. Did they know or they didn't know, man?
well, the court doc says evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and Plan B usage. That means at some point, yes, she was pregnant, and with the same pregnancy, I'm sure she had an abortion, which would have had to have been within the first trimester. The medical examiner wouldn't be able to determine if someone was ever pregnant if they didn't go past the first trimester. Also, didn't help that she was badly decomposed, which makes it 10 times harder to determine if she ever was pregnant. Interesting. Okay, so this is the evidence. They talked about their sexual relationship. So it's saying, if you read between the lines very carefully, it says she was pregnant. It says evidence of their pregnancy, right? It says, you're misunderstanding this. It doesn't say Celeste pregnancy. It says pregnancy, which most likely means they were discussing pregnancy and abortion at a high level. No, but it says evidencing their pregnancy. There was text messages that evidenced their pregnancy, not the possibility. I think that's saying she was definitely pregnant, to be honest with you, if you just read between the lines. For example, what they would do if she got pregnant. It doesn't say what they would do. It doesn't say evidencing what they would do if she got pregnant. It says evidencing their pregnancy. Full stop. Evidencing their pregnancy. It says, I made a post due to the decomposition. She could have been in earlier stages of pregnancy, but we will have to see when the pregnancy conversation specifically happened. And that's exactly that. That's why the medical examiner determined she wasn't pregnant. That's not what happened. But he can't determine for sure if she was ever pregnant. She most likely had an abortion before the first trimester. And with her being decomposed, it makes it harder to figure that out. I'd like to see the text messages before concluding Celeste was pregnant or had a pregnancy scare at some point. This is very vague, and they could have been discussing ways to avoid pregnancy. Medical examiner says she definitely wasn't pregnant within a year of her death. Well, that's not.
All that, he shouldn't even been dealing with her, right, chat? I mean, in my opinion, like, David, they talking about Shorty had little puncture wounds, all that stuff. Like, oh, this like a movie right here. What David got going on with Shorty, it's like a real movie right here. I ain't gonna lie. This is like a real movie.
Not really what was said. If necessary, the DNA might need an expert, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it means she was pregnant, but that they had S and was afraid, so they could go get a plan B. She was never. They said she was never. Bro, it says they evidenced pregnancy. Am I bugging? Let me know in the comments if I'm bugging, because I really feel like if you actually just read.
No, I'm starting to think that too. It's a numerous text messages between defendant and the victim, evidence of their relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B.
Read the text just straight stone cold sober, just with the facts and the words. Numerous text messages between the defendant and victim evidences their sexual relationship and pregnancy. Evidenced it. Am I? Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it sounds like she was pregnant. Not based on the autopsy. The autopsy and the medical examiner, they might not be in a position to determine. They've left it unambiguous. But it seems to suggest from the paperwork that there was evidence of a pregnancy happening, right? People saying Plan B prevents pregnancy. She might have taken it. She might have taken Plan B a different time. She could have got pregnant another time. She says, no, I'm not seeing anywhere about a documented pregnancy. Plan B is a tablet of hormone that you take within 72 hours of unprotected intercourse to prevent a pregnancy. If she had a documented abortion, that is evidence of a previous pregnancy, which could be possible in California at a clinic for a 13-year-old, but it wouldn't be easy. It says, when you're young, it's usually your first concern. I know I was terrified when I was younger because I didn't use protection. I never got pregnant. Talked about it a lot, though, because you're scared and you always have that possibility. I have a feeling it was David's first time being homeschooled and all. So there's more speculation about this possibility, right? It says there's evidence in the court documents. There were text messages talking about sex, pregnancy. It didn't say talking about. It said evidencing. Did this little girl really have an abortion or get pregnant? I'm way beyond disgusted. I mean, I have been, but this is too much. It then adds up to the me and deleted user got a kid on the way talk. Absolutely disgusting monster. Lock him up. It's not difficult to get an abortion in California. You do not.
Yeah, he was wild chat. Don't lie to chat. He was wild on chat.
They found evidence of discussions of it. I do think they choose wording intentionally in the case, so documents wouldn't surprise me either. So look, last thing I want to show you, all right, and you guys can let me know what you think, because we've got two different bits of paperwork that contradict each other, so we don't know for sure. But apparently, okay, this was a clip that I reacted to quite some time ago. Don't tell me Reddit has changed their video player. This looks like it sucks. So this was some random guy that was doing a Twitch stream with an alleged friend of Celeste, and was apparently told that she'd got pregnant and run away.
Right? So,
but you went to her house?
Yes, I went to her house, bro. Went to her house. When I went to her house, tell me how, like, she was like, oh, like, I might run away because my parents are doing too much. And I might go to David's house. Mind you, I didn't think of the David of the artist, David.
What? She told her friend that? Tripping. Hard, very hard. Crazy.
I thought like a nigga from school. So then I was like, okay, just be smart what you're doing. Don't be stupid. And she's like, oh, let me also tell you something else. I was like, what? She told me that she was pregnant. And I was like disappointed, but not disappointed at the same time, because it's also none of my business that she's pregnant. So then she told me that she ran away, and a few months later passed. And mind you, when she told me that she ran away, I kept texting her like every day. She hasn't like responded to my text. A few months later to 8.
Ran away, and oh man. Cool, and got a shorty pregnant, man. She out here wilding for no reason. Talking about her parents doing too much.
April, her parents asked me, like, do you know anything about Celeste? I was like, no. She's like, do you know that she's pregnant? I was like, no. They're like, do you know that she ran away? I was like, no, because she told me not to her parents she was pregnant, or then she ran away.
Creating custom clothing with tap stitch is simple. Start by choosing a garment, then click Design Now.
I'm gonna keep it a bean, bro. I don't think she's lying, bro.
Man, if shorty was pregnant, man, he definitely ain't want that coming out. No, he ain't want that to come out, chat.
My great grandmother grave, I'm not lying.
Y'all was close type shit. Like y'all was mad close, or like was y'all just like cool?
Yeah, we was close. We was close.
What's the last time you seen her?
Like, I think she ran away last year, January.
Last year of January?
Yeah, like January 2025.
Oh, so this year, 2025.
Went to her house, right?
So look, that could be taken with a pinch of salt, right? Some people think she might be lying. Okay, prosecutors have all their text messages, so if she ever was pregnant, they probably know already. And I think it's possible that we know. All right, some people are saying she's lying, but look, I do personally think, based on that wording, I think Celeste was pregnant at some point. Honestly, that's just my opinion. I think she was. I think they probably discussed it, and they clearly I don't think you would reference Plan B and abortion. Like, I feel like you would do one.
Yeah, they was talking about that before, and she probably told him like, "Yeah, I'm." Or they was discussing it, and and she finally told him, and he felt like he had to do something about it.
Or the other. It sounds like maybe a couple situations popped off. Honestly, like, based on the text that I'm reading, I'm thinking she got pregnant. If you don't like that, sorry, apologies if anyone's upset by that, but that's just my line of thinking with this. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm going to take a little bit of a relaxing day today. Got some social time booked in. So just one video for you guys today, and I'll be back tomorrow with a lot more content. Thank you.
For sure. Hey, keep watching, man. Yeah, we just reacted to Trap Boy Ross, man. Boy, Trap Boy Ross go crazy, chat. Subscribe to the channel, man. We're gonna be back. More videos on the way, man. Y'all think Fool got her pregnant, man? Let me know what y'all thoughts on that in the comments.